Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another episode of Football Clowns Anonymous. Step right up and watch us make this money disappear. This is a podcast run by and for NFL football fans. We designed this project to create sort of a fan community of people who enjoy often questionable takes, analysis, and predictions for all things NFL. Hope you're joining us on YouTube or Spotify, and you can contact us at footballclownsanonymous@gmail.com. Drop us a review, comment as well. And of course, when I say us, I mean myself, Ren Smith, and my co-host joining us from sunny Bay Area, California, Kurtis Pinkney.
You're AKA the Oracle. Put some respect on his name.
Hey, I don't have that as part of my official opening, but I probably should make sure that to call you the Oracle and call myself the Scholar. And
That's
I should
right.
call myself the Scholar because I just had a phenomenal sports betting week on Wild Card Round. And
Tell me all about it, sir.
For all of you who did not tune in and listen in to the picks that we put together for that, I am terribly sorry for all the money that you lost out on.
Try to help him.
I'm terribly sorry that my unit, let me say this carefully, the size of my wagers is not larger.
This guy's over 10-cent Charlie over here, bro. This guy, bro. He's one of those. I'll spoil your secret.
You can. It's I do not bet 10 cents. I bet more than that. However, I do not bet real money, and if it's actually probably a good thing because if I had bet real money, did you see my performance in the Football Clowns Anonymous Pick'em during the regular season? If I bet real money, I would be deep in the hole right now.
Not great, sir.
This would not have been enough to dig me out. However, there were some games last week that were just not in the right place. The Patriots -3.5 hit that. The 49ers, I got them early at +3.5. Should have waited and got them at +6.5. Oh, wait, doesn't matter. Sorry, Kurtis. Your Eagles suck, and they're out. 49ers won the game. Panthers +10. How on earth can you look me in the eye and tell me that I said this last week, I'm going to say it again. How can you tell me that any playoff game, a team should be favored, that half the outcomes are a road team winning by 11 or more points? What are we even doing right now? The Panthers, they didn't win. They had a losing record. Whatever. Who cares? That is a playoff team. That's Bryce Young's first playoff appearance. He left it all on the table, and by God, he probably should have won that game, to be honest.
They should have won that game. It's just Matt Stafford is superhuman. I don't know if you saw the clip that was making the rounds, but it was basically their last drive to go and win the game. Matt Stafford's talking about, he's in the huddle, and he's basically told the guys, let's go snatch these motherfuckers' hearts out their chest. And I was just like,
How do you, as another player on the team, how do you not just get up for that? I mean, how do you not just?
Hey,
I'm
bro,
ready.
It's an automatic W from that point forward.
I knew the bet. I knew the bet was coming in by that point, so I didn't really care if the Rams won or the Panthers won for the standpoint of the bet. But man, just watching them go down ice cold with 30, I don't know, it was like 30 or 45 seconds or something to go, and Parkinson catches the touchdown at the very end. It's like, God, if you're Bryce Young and the Panthers, I mean, you still gotta take well out of maybe not a lot of good things from the season. You were still 8-9, but you did make the playoffs and you put up a hell of a fight.
Significantly overachieved on the season, so I think Carolina fans should be ecstatic from what they saw from their team.
Gosh, yes.
Obviously, not perfect, still things to clean up, but I mean, seeing Bryce Young perform like that in a playoff game against a respectable Rams defense.
Mm-hmm. Some would say one of the Super Bowl favorites at the time. I mean, certainly now, especially with only 8 teams left. But, I mean, yes, absolutely. And they have every chance to win that division again next year potentially with a better record. We'll see. They have I said they have every chance. I don't know if I'm going to pick it, but they played better than Bryce Young in his first playoff start played better than some of these other quarterbacks who have playoff experience in the first week. I'm looking at you, Justin Herbert. I'm skipping all the way from Saturday first game to Sunday last game, but I'm looking at you, Justin Herbert, and Harbaugh in your offense putting up 3 points in a playoff game. Who would you rather have in that game?
So I mean, that game though. I mean, that Chargers offensive line, not great, Bob. Like I think I saw like a graphic. All of the starters are like second from last in the PFF rankings.
Not good.
However, like how many years are we going to keep doing this with old Jay Herbo Like, yeah, he's a great quarterback, but the surrounding cast is hot dog water. Like, this has been quite a few years that we've been doing this now, and
I know. When do you make it? That's the question. It's kind of the, dare I say it?
he's not the
It's
first
kind of
quarterback in history to have a bad offensive line.
no, it's absolutely true. But at some point, you got to make a. Well, actually, this is maybe a good segue. At some point, you got to make a change when your team is either not making the playoffs or they're making the playoffs and then shitting the bed. And I'm looking at you, John Harbaugh, and the Baltimore Ravens, actually, because
Just gonna
I
say
feel
Mike
like that's
Tomlin.
kind of their. Well, same thing with Mike Tomlin. Yes,
Yeah.
actually, it could be either one of those
Yeah.
because I think for the Steelers, they've had a winning record for how long, and they still fired. Their coach stepped down, probably was asked to leave, would be my guess. Um, but
For yeah,
that's enough to
from
get fired eventually. Eventually,
for,
that's enough to
for
get fired.
yeah, for Tomlin, from what I've heard, it was the TLDR is it was a good time for the two parties to go their separate ways. Like Tomlin, he's been doing it a long time, you know, great for the city of Pittsburgh, but the way that the front office apparently is structured, there's a bunch of assistants that were on the last years of the deal, so there's going to be a lot of turnover in the front office. The football team itself, obviously in a bit of a transitional, at best period, rebuild, probably more realistic. No
Probably.
quarterback. Some of their stalwarts are old as hell. It was probably, and Tomlin could have led that. He's more than capable, but
At
I
some
don't know.
point, you got to have some fresh blood in there, and they'll be benefited. I know somebody in
Yeah.
my dynasty league, shout out to Mario, is a Steelers fan and is saying, I hope they win 3 games next year because then
Yeah.
you can actually rebuild for real.
Yeah.
And without Tomlin, this will be the first time the Steelers win total will be it'll be like 5.5 probably next year.
I'm
Espe-
smashing the over.
Well, we'll see. I mean, it kind of depends on who's the quarterback. If it's Aaron Rodgers, I'm taking the under at 3.5. I don't care.
No way. Not a chance in hell. Not a chance in hell he comes back and plays for a Mike Tomlin-less Pittsburgh Steelers.
No. But then does he go to somebody else and have one last flame with? I mean, it's just. At what point do you? I agree with you. At
Get
what
that
point
boy
do you
out.
just say, let's go back to the. I'm pretty sure in the August episode I said this on tape. If not, I put it in many texts to many people. Aaron Rodgers is going to get Mike Tomlin shit canned.
You did say that.
And I feel very validated by that decision because my basic principle on Aaron Rodgers since since he left the Packers for sure is that he is just a cancer basically to anywhere he goes basically, and he's going to unravel the team from the inside out. And that's more or less exactly what he did with the Jets. Got Saleh fired. Now comes to Pittsburgh, gets Tomlin fired. Who really wants to take that on? I'm so glad the Vikings didn't bite on him. Gosh, good lord.
I hear where you're coming from. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I agree.
Okay.
I don't, because we didn't Did we hear about any Rodgers shenanigans over the course of the year?
Not a lot of inside, but I just think his talent is overrated at this point. As an old man, he's overhyped.
100% agree. He showed flashes, but he is every bit of 40 years old that
Yes.
he looks. But the idea that he was the toxic Aaron Rodgers that eroded the Jets from the inside out, I have a hard time buying that argument, especially because it's Mike Tomlin. I mean, he dealt with the George Pickens of the world. He dealt with the Antonio Browns of the world.
Brown,
Yeah,
yeah. That's okay. So
who the fuck is Aaron Rodgers?
he's not in that category. And I think it's just that a quarterback like that comes in with this Hall of Fame pedigree already, and you instantly bow to the quarterback because he can do no wrong.
That's Mike Tomlin, bro. Mike Tomlin bending the knee is wild, sir.
No, I'm saying the media circus bends the knee to Aaron Rodgers in all of these situations and says, "Oh, it's Aaron Rodgers. Oh, it's Aaron Rodgers. Got Hall of Fame. Yeah. Who's so good. How many more Super Bowls than the Vikings. Fine, but for as good as he was, for as elite as he was, 1 Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes is 28 and has 3.
Drew Brees only had 1 Super Bowl. You gonna tell me that boy wasn't elite?
He's elite. Drew Brees was elite.
Bad guy.
I mean,
Hashtag
a Super Bowl makes you elite. I
think what I'm seeing happening here, the hate, the bias, if you will. So, for those of you who are new here, Renly Baratheon, aka the Scholar, aka my co-host, that's a Vikings fan right there, through and
Big
through.
time. Big time.
That boy bleeds purple and whatever the gold. Um, this is not rational Ren thinking right now.
No.
If Aaron Rodgers was not a Green Bay Packer, I have a sneaking suspicion we'd be on the same page about how this unfolded. But
My childhood was ruined by Aaron. My adolescent life, at least, was ruined by Aaron Rodgers.
that's you know, I don't know if we should. This is a family friendly show. That's a crazy thing to say about a 40-year-old man on live on the podcast, bro. That's
Oh man, you're not wrong. Twice a year getting steamrolled by Aaron Rodgers, though.
Yeah.
I know, and I'm making it worse by saying twice a year.
You did.
Mhm. Speaking of being haunted, however, let me quickly pivot away from that as quickly as possible and say, speaking of being haunted and twice a year meeting your maker, John Harbaugh is now in the NFC East. As an Eagles fan, sir, how are we feeling about this development?
I want to be tough. I want to say I'm not worried, but the team that he's walking into, quite nice, quite lovely. I think there's reason for Giants fans to be optimistic. Assuming he hasn't signed on the dotted line yet, so I'm sure there's still room for this to fall apart. But yeah, that's Jackson Dart, the crayon eater himself.
Scattaboo coming back, and you said Neighbors coming back too, and that defense that we were showed flashes this year.
Let's put some respect on dude's name. Wandale Robinson is a great wide receiver too.
Yep, go there.
Super underrated because he's had a couple years now where he's just kind of feasted in silence. He's had a little bit of tough injury luck, but when he's healthy, man, that boy is cooking. To the defense. They underperformed this year. I would imagine that Harbaugh would bring in a DC that could get things turned around. I'm curious who they'll bring in at OC. There's reason for optimism there. I don't know if I should be worried yet. The thing that worries me more is the Eagles themselves as opposed to the Giants. Like if the Eagles play to the level of the talent that they have on the roster, doesn't matter who the fuck they bring in at coach, because you got Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, one of the best O-lines in the league, Saquon Barkley, Tank Bigsby, Will Shipley apparently showing flashes, and that's before getting to the defense. Like, in theory, that Eagles team should have nothing to worry about.
No. I tend to agree. So you're more worried about yourself, I guess, than worried about the opposition and having to play them twice.
Correct, because we are now having to answer the questions all over again of, is it the OC or is it Jalen Hurts? Is Jalen Hurts the bum or is the OC a bum? Is the OC hamstringed by Jalen Hurts being too shallow mentally, I guess, if you will, to comprehend complex playbooks and things that would prevent an OC from calling anything other than 4 verticals on 4 and 11 with the game on the line into cover 4. It's just fucking goofy shit.
Well, Patullo's gone now, so let's if I'm you, I'm hoping it's just the OC, because Kellen Moore moves on after you win the Super Bowl. Some other scrub comes in. That's the hope, right? Is that now whoever comes in next can do better with the aforementioned offensive talent that you have. Let's not forget, though, we are less than 365 days removed from Jalen Hurts being the Super Bowl MVP. So
that is true.
Say what? That is true. So I think it's way too ambitious.
However, that team, I get he did win the Super Bowl MVP. And he did play a good game, but if you recall that year, I mean, the entire offense was predicated around the run game. So
yes, that
game was, again, biggest stage of his, of football, but it was an anomaly on the season, not the norm. I don't know.
That's fair. That's fair, and I think there's room for criticism to say that obviously he's a fantastic fantasy player, fantasy quarterback.
Yes.
Is he too sort of tentative, or does he take those big risks and things like that? Does he make the big plays when he needs to make them? there's room for questions there. But it'll be interesting to see who we bring in at offensive coordinator to attempt to solve those problems.
That notification we got on Sleeper today that said Mike McDaniel was in contention. Full chub. I was like, please, bro, please make that happen.
Oh man,
if
the offensive mind.
If the football gods love me, they'll bring in McDaniel as OC.
I mean, as much as I hate your Eagles, I do have Jalen Hurts and Devonta Smith on my team,
It'd be so fun.
And there is also I don't hate to say this because it's not my team. You know, there's a world, I won't be holding my breath, but there is a world where A.J. Brown is not on your team next year.
Yeah.
And that also, with Devonta Smith becoming a wide receiver 1 potentially.
It'd be interesting.
That stack in the Dynasty League next year, following a 10-4 season in fantasy, regular season in fantasy.
I think there's certainly.
I'd be here for it.
100%. I mean, there's certainly the question to ask. Can Smith do it if he's the one, the only?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't bet against him, but I mean, it's certainly a question mark.
I would agree with that. I mean, we always had that problem with the Vikings did in their heyday with Diggs and Thielen, is when both of them were on the field, it was impossible to guard them both. And when one of them was injured, the other one would not play that well because the other one wasn't pulling targets away. So, you have to, if you're a defense, you absolutely 100% have to respect A.J. Brown. And that is Devonta Smith gets to eat in those situations. But if they're doubling him.
You don't have to respect A.J. Brown. All he does is drop shit.
That is why I think there's a chance with the sort of, shall we say, I've heard it called childlike behavior.
Hey, bro.
What do you got?
Get him the fuck out of here, dog.
I like it.
I'm over it. Get him the fuck out of here.
I'm ready. I'm ready for that. That's me.
I'm still salty. Salty.
I get it. He had a critical drop, at least one very critical drop in that game.
Oh no, there was multiple.
There were multiple. It was at least one very critical one at the end that I'm thinking of.
Bro, I've been seeing a lot of chatter online talking about, well, he couldn't get in a rhythm because he didn't have targets at the start of the game. I'm not trying to hear that shit, bro. It's the playoffs.
That is a professional football.
I'm not trying
wide
to hear
receiver.
that. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like
when you get called upon.
That's what I'm saying, bro. When it's your time to shine, bro. Biggest moments of the game. What's going on?
The Eagles might have a game against the Bears this week if he makes that catch. So let's be real. Let's pause and consider that for a moment. Speaking of which, we can keep going here through these. We're just kind of jumping all over the place, but I want to make sure we touch on also another winning bet, which probably, in all honesty, probably shouldn't have won this one. I took Bears money line right when the line opened, and the Packers were favored on the road. I'm like, this is a coin flip. If you're going to give me plus 100 on the Bears, I'm going to take it. Home team, division game in the playoffs. It's the 2 seed. They got their ass kicked in the first half, and the Packers just completely laid down. I do not analyze enough football to know exactly what happened, but I do know that it was a cataclysmic failure by the Green Bay Packers, and they should be embarrassed.
They didn't put their foot on the neck.
No,
they
changed how they played. I think what I heard was the Bears adjusted because they needed to. The Packers said it's working. Let's just keep doing what we're doing. It's like, no, you got to fight fire with fire here. You got to expect the halftime adjustment.
Especially when the coach on the other side of the field is Ben Johnson. Like that is a non-negotiable. You need to be mentally prepared for him to come out and be 100% on his bullshit. Like, that's Ben Johnson, bro. Except I will say the first half when the Bears were going for it on every single fourth down, I was just like, I love an aggressive team just as much as the next guy. But that fourth and whatever from the 30, I was just like, that's crazy. And that was in like the first quarter, maybe early in the second or something like that. And I was just like, nah, I don't know about that one, big dog. That's
I don't care what some of these situations where maybe the analytics tells you to do one thing or you're trying to make a momentum play. But you know what else? There's got to be a little bit of a human element stepping in and saying, okay, hang on, I'm sorry. If analytics says maybe I should go for this, you know what else would be demoralizing for the Packers is scoring some goddamn points right now and getting a field goal out of this. I know it's early in the game, but imagine how, sure, you pick up the first down, that's great. If you pick up the first down. If you don't, imagine the momentum swing that you're giving up right now by going for it on fourth down and coming away with 0 points on this drive. So I'm somewhere in the middle of where the NFL used to be. They didn't go for it on fourth down enough. I almost think there's situations now where they're going for it too much. It's almost like just the sexy thing is I didn't come here to punt. It's like
I'm gonna be talking about out of two sides of my mouth on this one because I slightly disagree. I very much enjoy the increase of fourth down plays, and now that I'm thinking about it a little bit more, like especially like I'm reflecting on the post game videos I saw of Ben Johnson in the locker room, like he leaned all the way into Packers, go fuck yourselves. And I think the game plan was probably, we are no longer little brother in the NFC North. And we are going to come out, and every opportunity we get, I'm kicking somebody in the nuts. Like somebody's got to
or
get
missing
credit.
trying, but yeah,
or missing trying, yeah. Yep. And you know what? And I think about that, and I'm like, I kind of that is the I'm trying to get on your motherfucking neck mentality that the Packers should have had, but didn't. So I've talked myself into being cool with the fourth and whatever from the 30, but it's still just wild to see.
Yes, I remember where I was when I heard that Aaron Rodgers, still as a Packer, beat the Bears and said, I own this team, or I still own this team, or whatever it is, right? Even though Aaron Rodgers is gone, as a Bears fan, you still got to be feeling that, right?
Oh, and the city of Chicago had their Super Bowl on, what day was that? Saturday.
Yes.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
That was Chicago's Super Bowl.
Which is the thing that concerns me about next week is that was their Super Bowl. It's like and they poured it all out and they came back in a heroic fashion.
Yeah.
Much like the Rams that we just talked about, earlier in that same day. They came back, they poured it all in, and they got the win. And they get another home game this week. So because they were able to lock up the 2 seed. So good for them. Good for my bet. Again, I don't know that I necessarily felt great about that. Another shout out to my boy Mario, though, who said that at halftime he played Bears plus 14.5 because he's like, there's just no way that the Packers are like this. So and that they weren't going to come back and at least make a game out of it. So we'll see what happens next week, and I still can't believe that the Bears are where they are, but good on them. I want to make sure I give you the opportunity to. Talk about
the Bills.
Superhero. The next game that happened in chronological order was the Sunday 1 Eastern Bills at Jaguars. The floor is yours, Kurtis. That's your Bills.
Josh Allen is that. Like, it has to be now because the Eagles are fucking dog shit. But we're not salty, right? But Josh Allen, that guy, bro. Hashtag that guy, bro. When you could do a 10-yard QB sneak. Man, bro, the one rushing touchdown where he bulldozed over 2 defenders, got that extra 1.5 yards, bro. Man, I was just like, oh, so we just running over motherfuckers now, bro. That's what we doing.
That's a real man. That's a real man.
Bro, I was just like, yo, he can't. And this was like he broke his finger, he broke his knee, hip, elbow, head, shoulders, knees, and toes, bro. Like everything was hurt, and he still was just out here being MVP Allen. Oh my God! I was just like, yo, he is
nuts,
bro.
Half
the team's injured, bro. I was just like, yo, what's going on right now? How is he doing this?
Jaguars
is like a top 10 defense, bro. He said, doesn't matter, bro. Team's on my back. I could carry it.
Mm-hmm.
And these other 2 defenders at the same time, bro. Doesn't matter.
When he got the ball down 4 with, I don't know, it was like 2, it was probably like 4 minutes to play or something like that. I recalled, and I sitting there, of course, the only one that would listen to me is my wife. My 2-year-old and 3-month-old don't give 2 shits what I'm saying. But
of course,
I told my wife, I was like, I said this on the podcast last week. When there's a couple minutes left to play in the game, you got 1 timeout and you need a touchdown. Who do you want on your team? And you said Mahomes, which is a great answer. Mahomes isn't playing. I want
Josh. The 1B.
I want Josh Allen on my team. Yeah. What did he do on that drive? Scored a fucking touchdown. And that was just, I mean, it's so vindicating, I guess, in that sense to
Yeah.
back the Bills in that sense and be like, but you know he knows that his dad's on the couch right now watching these games. Like the commentators don't want to like make a huge deal about it, and he won't make a big deal about it in post game interviews if anyone ever asked him about it or something like that. This, I think he knows. This is my time.
This
This
is the
is my
one.
time.
Yeah.
And now I got the Broncos next week. That
I was just gonna
like
say. I mean, we could transition, and start talking about that game because I think it's an interesting one.
it's a fascinating game. Let's hold for just a second because I think we only have so much left to cover with this one. But the Josh Allen is that dude, and that's
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I just feel like whatever you need, whenever you need it, like he's gonna get it done for you. It's such a hard thing to quantify, and it's just that could have been anyone's game. But
Yeah.
it's like again, it's a close game. It's a one-score game. I'm taking Josh Allen. What happened the next drive? Trevor Lawrence gets the ball, first play, throws a pick. Now, could that have been Josh Allen? It could have been Josh Allen. I've
The
seen
way
him.
it happened, it sure could have.
That could have been a back-breaking Josh Allen. Like he's had some of those before too. But
Yeah.
this just feels like it's his time.
Yeah.
We talked about your Eagles already. You don't want to talk. Do you want to? Do you want
I
to?
don't want to talk anymore about those
Nope.
fucking
Okay.
Eagles,
Let's
bro.
get
These
rid of.
trash ass motherfucking Eagles playing just JV fucking offense, bro. Like they look like if a goddamn 6-year-old got a hold of the sticks playing Madden and just spammed the same fucking play over and over. Like it worked once and they were like, oh okay cool, this will work forever. I got AJ Brown. I'm just gonna tell him run straight. The fucking offense is run pass, run pass. Trash ass fucking Eagles, bro. Against a defense that hasn't done shit the whole second half of the year, bro. Just
Sounds like you're not done talking about them. I appreciate.
I'm done, bro. Just fucking
So
goofy ass offense, bro.
the 49ers lose George Kittle, and they
I
still
still
win.
can't do goddamn
They
thing, bro.
still they
Fuck.
and they scored 23 points and win the game in Philly. Okay, Eagles are out. 49ers are in. They will play Seattle next week. The Chargers. We talked about Justin Herbert. Really shit in the bed. Chargers
Yeah.
defense looked good. Patriots didn't play great offensively, but
No.
the Chargers did not show up. I think they mailed in their game from LA basically, and didn't even bother to get off the plane.
Are we concerned with the Patriots?
Concerned in
The,
what way? Do we
they
think
only
they're
put
for
up
real?
they only put up 16 points against a reeling Chargers team.
And with that
Or no, I think
Will
they put up more. Oh, no, it was only 16.
no,
Yeah.
16 points against the
Yeah.
Chargers defense.
Yeah.
And we might be because what defense is coming in this next week.
The one that took over the last game on our schedule of games to talk about had 2 touchdowns, a scoop and score, and a pick six. Made Aaron Rodgers probably forced his hand into retirement. Completely shut down everything.
And got a coach effectively removed from his
The
job.
fuck out of there. Yeah.
A coach left. We can talk about whether he was fired or
Yeah.
stepped down or whatever, but the
Semantics. That boy's the fuck out of there.
he's gone because
Yeah.
they got completely obliterated in that game.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers looked like a fossil.
Yeah.
The fossil that he is, to be totally fair. But
I was scared for him watching him try to run away from some of those linemen.
there were a couple plays I'm like, dude, you should just
Yeah.
fall down, man. Like
Yeah.
your life's not worth it.
Yeah, because they don't care about you, bro. Like they will hurt you.
They will murder you, exactly.
Yeah.
So the Texans kicked the shit out of the Steelers. Tomlin's out, and yeah, the Texans will play the Patriots next week. So that's gonna be an interesting one. So maybe this is where we're gonna transition to the next game
Yeah.
to the next week because we've now covered them all. But the Texans at Patriots. The Patriots are favored by 3 points in this game. Are we worried about the Patriots? I think there's a lot of reason to be worried about the Patriots. Gun to my head, with the back-to-back situation with the Texans, I should take the Texans. It's just one of those things. I'm not sure if the Texans offense is humming yet enough, and with the way it's more about the Patriots defense and what they can do about the Texans offense. That also concerns me if I'm trying to pick for the Texans too.
I think Nico Collins is a very big question mark with a concussion.
Yes.
Suffered on a Monday night. for a Sunday game. If Nico Collins doesn't go, that's an easy Patriots for me. But I also wonder if I'm tainted a little bit in my thinking here because I very much want a Bills Patriots AFC Championship game. It just feels poetic. The Bills getting back to the Super Bowl, beating the Patriots, the team that has stood in their way for 20 years, 20 something years.
I would have to be on Josh Allen in that game. This one is hard because the way that the Texans defense looked, the way that the Texans in general looked and the way that the Patriots in general looked, it's really easy to just say the Texans are going to come in there and they're going to grind out a defensive gritty win. But let's also keep in mind too, these are cold, windy games too, and this Texans team is a warm, soft dome team, as I've heard referred to before. Back to back on the road in these conditions, it makes me wonder. That gives me a little bit of a question mark too. Whether they can put up another effort like that, and not against Aaron Rodgers. This is no longer against a fossil at quarterback. Now you've got the young hotshot. So this honestly is the only game I didn't actually bet on when I first saw the opening lines. So I'm like, that number is right. I'm not going to put my actual money on this because I just can't do it.
Do you think that over under of 40.5 feels right?
Feels high.
That's a little bit.
The only thing that scares me, I had the same thought. The only thing that scares me about it is those defensive touchdowns. If there were to be a defensive touchdown, or not only that, but just a team getting a defensive or getting a turnover at a spot that sets up an offense at a really critical really good field position. But
if Nico is ruled out, how low do you think it drops?
Not enough, actually. I don't think the line responds enough to those types of non-major quarterback injuries. I think it would drop a point, maybe two.
Yeah.
But you don't see point totals at 34 or anything like that. It would never be that low.
Yeah.
But if he does get ruled out, I think you're getting good value on that 40.5
points for sure. Yeah.
So that's actually good. I'm glad you called that out because I had the same thought when I looked at the total. I actually feel better about betting that than I do betting a side or like a spread on that game.
Yeah, and I was looking at the TD scores for that game, and I just can't. Like I saw the Ramondre and Travion are at plus 165 and plus 185 apiece. I was just like, man, I really would love to touch one of those, but not against the Texans. And also seeing I guess both of the defenses have pretty high. No, I guess it's pretty normal. Never mind. I normally don't look at defensive touchdown scoring, so I don't really know what these normally are at, but seems to be in line with all the other defenses.
Mm-hmm. That one did catch my eye actually. Ramondre at plus 165 because of how many opportunities he's getting, especially in the playoffs as the more experienced back. Makes me want to bet on a Ramondre fumble, but that's not a thing they usually offer because he hasn't fumbled in a while. He's due for a back-breaking fumble.
Yeah, he is.
And against that defense too, and those, this is a very tough game because there's a script where the Texans are riding that Steelers game and just come in and do not stand a chance. There's also a script where they grind out a gritty win. So it's either going to be Texans by 2 or Patriots by 12 probably.
Think I can get on board with that logic?
Maybe that's worth betting on.
Keep it in the AFC?
Yeah, let's keep it in the AFC because I was going to say we can switch back also to chronological here. The first game actually on Saturday, and by the way, we have my toddler son is set up for a play date during this, which may or may not have been scientifically engineered to make sure that the watching of this game does not get interrupted. The Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, superhero, traveling to Denver. Currently, the Broncos are favored by 1.5. I've seen that go back and forth a whole bunch. You can get Bills money line for plus 100 right now.
That's an easy smash.
It has to be. I have money on the Bills.
The thing that gives me pause is I just saw today they've got more injuries at receiver. I don't know who this motherfucker's throwing to, bro. He's got Khalil Shakir, he's got Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox, and then I don't know who else after that. Because I guess Keon Coleman, I
I was
think
gonna
might
say,
be.
is Coleman injured or is yeah?
I think he might be okay.
You know what? For some of these guys, though, and I'm going to put Josh Allen in that category, it almost doesn't matter who you're throwing
Doesn't
to.
fucking
It just
matter.
does not matter. Like,
Bills
yeah,
money line.
they're completely. Yeah, Brandon Cooks apparently is healthy too. He had himself a decent game in absence of some of these other guys. So,
Yeah.
I have one of the things I wrote down. I was furiously trying to look at props before you hopped on. Brandon Cooks anytime touchdown is plus 500, and that feels like something that is not necessarily likely, but is probably more likely than plus 500.
I probably like Dawson Knox at 425 or Kincaid at 280. A little bit better myself, but
Fair enough.
yeah, I can see why that would catch your eye though.
Yeah, and this is tricky. You know, you're getting Josh Allen has all this playoff experience. Bo Nix has only one game. It's actually against the Bills, by the way. It was last year. Do we think that there's a world where the Broncos, this 13, how many games did they win? 13 or 14? Either way.
It was a fluke.
I don't think I would say at face value it was a fluke. But this is a good football team. But they have been lucky in a few of these wins.
Yeah.
And I think they're very lucky to be where they are. And this could be a mismatch in terms of just this is not quantifiable. The X factor that is Josh Allen is not quantifiable.
Like, Bo Nix is not that. Like,
no.
I don't expect a good game from Bo Nix. Period. Like, the Broncos defense is nice and acknowledged, but they're not playing fucking Josh Allen, bro. Like, he's him until further notice, until proven otherwise. Like, period. That's it. End of statement.
I should mention also that before the last game, I threw on Bills to win the AFC, i.e. make the Super Bowl, which at the time was like plus 450 or something like that. I'm like, you're not going to tell me that in a world where Mahomes is not in the playoffs, Lamar is not in the playoffs, Joe Burrow is not in the playoffs, that he should be disrespected like that, even as the sixth seed.
I was going to say, I'm glad you reminded me that I was looking at the Super Bowl odds. Bills are at plus 650 to make the Super Bowl. Just ahead of the Broncos at plus 700. How the hell are the Bills favored to
That's to win, by the way, but yeah.
Oh, it is
you
to
said
win.
Make. Yeah, that's to win. But yes. The Bills are more likely. The Bills are more likely, even though the Broncos are favored in that game. The Bills are more likely to win the Super Bowl than the Broncos.
Yeah, that's hurting my brain a little bit.
That's what we're hearing. I wonder if it's because if the Bills do in fact win that game, which it's a coin flip basically. They're saying it's close to a coin flip. If the Bills do win that game, they're more likely to win the AFC in the final game and win the Super Bowl against whatever goofy NFC team comes out. I.e. Sorry, that's not what team comes out of the NFC. It's what team comes out of the NFC West. Excuse me.
Yeah, 100% accurate, sir.
It's not going to be the Bears, in my opinion.
No.
One of those NFC West teams is coming out of that conference. Period.
Yes. 100% agree. Do we want to start on those games? Like which one are you thinking?
Yeah. Well, let's go to the Niners and Seahawks next, because that's chronologically next. The 49ers are traveling to, let me get back to the game lines. 49ers are traveling to Seattle fresh off their win against the Eagles. The Seahawks are favored by 7 points. Let me rephrase that. Sam Darnold is favored by 7 points in a playoff game. Not to jump ahead. I'm taking the Niners on the spread.
Niners money line. You sent that text the other day, bro. We're smashing Niners money line.
I don't hate it at all. The Niners are live to win that game, which is why I think it's an easy. I actually bet him immediately at plus 6.5. And then he was feeling stupid that I didn't get it at plus 7.5. It doesn't matter who's injured on that team. It's the same thing. Like, do we trust Sam Darnold in the playoff game? I do not. I watched him last year shit the bed for the Vikings. Now, I also watched him shit the bed in the battle for the 1 seed with the Vikings last year, and he did not do that this year. Yeah. He didn't play great, but the team collectively beat the shit out of the San Francisco 49ers. It's the same team this week. That concerns me. I just don't think we're going to get a carbon copy. This is not a copy and paste that game into this game. situation. This is a playoff game, and this is going to be different. Is the 12th man going to be out in Seattle? Hell yes, it is. But I don't know. This goes back to one more thing. This goes back to the same logic that I was using with the Carolina Panthers and Rams game. This type of a line in the divisional round of the playoffs just feels absurd to me.
Incorrect.
The Seahawks could very well win this game. That you're not going to tell me that half the outcomes are Seattle winning by 2 scores. Period.
I agree. To your Seattle's going to be rocking comment, that stadium is going to be fucking nuts, bro.
Yes.
To be there would have been fun. But yeah, I mean, I agree. The only thing that concerns me about the bold Niners money line claim, the Seahawks defense is
lights out.
Pretty fucking good. And the Niners without George Kittle are not quite the same team. It really impacts the running game. If McCaffrey can't get going, which, the cracks are starting to show a little bit against the Eagles. I mean, he was able to rattle off a couple of clutch runs late in the game, but for most of that game, he was bottled up by McCaffrey standards anyway.
I think it's a smart business practice. It's a smart scheme for teams like that, basically, you set up your defense if you're Seattle. I'm going to not get beat by Christian McCaffrey. I'm not going to let him run for 150 yards on the ground. Period. I'm not going to let him do that.
Yeah.
If you want to beat us, it's going to have to be Brock Purdy finding, gaps in the zones or, Juwan Jennings, and not George Kittle, by the way. So that's the other reason to do it.
Yeah.
McCaffrey's probably not going to have a great game. I actually wonder what his rushing yards prop is.
Great question.
It's probably overinflated because it's star power and it's chalky to just play the McCaffrey over. But
plus 123 at 60 yards.
Plus 123 for the under at 60?
60 plus yards.
60 plus yards.
Mm-hmm.
Rather have
apparently he's averaging about 69.4 yards a game.
Interesting. And this total should be less than that. It makes sense that this total would be less than that. So maybe the market's figured it out. I still want to take whatever under he has because
Vegas knows how to place lines.
Vegas has been kicking our ass this year, sir. Yeah, yes. I see his over under at 54.5 rushing yards. Gosh, now it makes me reconsider and want to take the over because it's still Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
He could get that in a single run.
I wonder what his receiving yards are though.
Yeah, that's a good question. Here we are scrolling DraftKings live on that, but I love it. This is 50.5 receiving yards?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's got to be an under, right?
I would argue that's the over.
From the standpoint of running for your life kind of thing, or
yeah, I mean, I would guess that. He's going to be the entire offense. Like, how surprised are we if he gets 6, 7, 8 targets?
Not surprised.
One of those for 20 yards.
What about rush and receiving yards over under? Is rush plus receiving yards is 109.5.
Probably taking the over there.
I would take the under. All right.
That's crazy.
Anyway,
has to be the over. He's the offense.
Because he's the whole offense.
Yeah,
that Seahawks defense. I don't know. That's a tricky one. This line is disrespectful. That's the bottom line. I'm not playing Liners money line probably with my own money, but they are definitely alive to win this game despite the results of 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
This is a different ball game. To act like this is just the same game that's going to be replayed again.
Yeah.
Just no. And Purdy has a lot of playoff experience too, whereas Darnold has never won a playoff game before. So if you're gun to my head, that's kind of where I'm at. The line is disrespect. Last but not least, the LA Rams, fresh off of their narrow victory against the Carolina Panthers, traveling to Chicago, and the Rams are favored by 3.5 on the road.
I want the Rams to win, but that line feels enticing.
I already, as soon as it opened, I played Bears plus 4.5. Now it's Bears plus 3.5. I can't go against that at home, especially with the conversation that Stafford is banged up. The Rams
hurt finger on his throwing hand is not good. It's not good at all because he was looking a little suspect in that second half.
He was, and they almost lost to Bryce Young.
That's what I'm saying. He was throwing some ducks. That's not good.
It's not what you want. Although Puka could probably catch a duck, It doesn't even matter. It's
Puka Nacua.
The way that they're playing that receiving core with Adams too.
Because the one play where he was wide open and the ball just bounces off his hands and hits the turf, I was like, he was probably just surprised because he's never had to make a wide open catch before. Like that's just not in his bag, bro. This shit has to be double, triple contested. He's got to be doing it while upside down, doing a cartwheel. You know what I'm saying?
That is probably what it is.
Yeah, it wasn't tough enough. So
I was out at a work. This will be related to Puka, that wide open drop that he had. Basically, I was out at a work party today, and they had this miniature bowling type of attraction at this place, which is kind of fun. But when there was one pin left, and you're only 12 feet away from it, damn thing was really hard to hit, right? It's just the one pin. Just hit the goddamn pin, right? But it was so difficult to do that, and I would compare that as it's if I'm trying to bowl a strike with the 10 pins there, I can easily hit the front pin every single time. But as soon as it's just that one pin standing there, it gets in your head, man. I'm telling you, this is too easy. You're already thinking about the next thing. You're already thinking about the next frame. You're counting your spare already. You're already looking ahead. Puka's not even looking at the ball. Probably he's just looking at where are the defenders at, so I can juke a guy.
Ryan, you could just get better at bowling.
I could get better at bowling. That is true. I am not very good at bowling, but
I know I've seen it.
How long are you here for when you come back through? Might have to.
We got 24 hours of tomfoolery, sir.
Long enough to go to the bowling alley.
That is 100% correct. I'm on your neck. I'm gonna do what the Packers couldn't.
Please don't. You'd be wearing an Aaron Rodgers jersey as you crush my hopes and dreams. Is that what you're saying?
Probably will never ever wear an Aaron Rodgers jersey. Can't do it.
I had to do it once because I lost a fantasy football championship to Ryan. Shout out to Ryan. He was going to have to.
I don't know if you can shout him out for that, bro. That's tough.
Shout out to Ryan for beating me. He forced me to wear an Aaron Rodgers jersey for the night. We had the agreement before. I don't possess any. Bad is by design. You could check with Ryan and see if there's photo evidence of this.
Wow.
He was going to have to wear a Vikings jersey if I won. So not only it's double shame at that point, right? Because you didn't win the title.
Yeah. Who would you have picked?
What?
For him to wear? For which jersey?
Either I have Smith and Thielen. So I don't know. I would have maybe done Thielen, but because the Smith is more me. I don't need him to wear my last name. It's a little. This is an actual Viking that has literally steamrolled you before in games. Although seeing Harrison Smith intercept Aaron Rodgers several times was one of the more satisfying things in life. Yes. Yeah. So, and shout out to Harrison Smith, who I think is not coming back. I don't actually know if he's calling it a career, but there was a big sort of outpouring of support for him as he left the field for the last time in the last game against the Packers.
Interesting.
So I think,
and also let's pour one out for Adam Thielen. He retired.
He also retired. Yes, he did. Yeah. That was just yesterday. And
yeah.
I feel Adam Thielen was one of my favorite players. Yeah, he's one of my favorite players because he's just old faithful, old reliable. Even when he was 3 or 4 years in the league, he still already felt like old faithful. He was still old faithful.
Really weird seeing the retirement notice, and it was in black and gold.
That's just
really
not right.
Weird. Really weird.
I would not be surprised if he signs a one-day contract with the Vikings because let's also not forget too, he was Minnesota born and raised, grew up a Vikings fan, and just was one of those walk-ons to the practice squad kind of thing that eventually got elevated to kick returner and then receiver. So I would be almost surprised if he doesn't.
And he won the Triple Crown the one year, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. In his prime, he was phenomenal. He was really fun to watch, and he did it with alongside Diggs. That was a 1-2 punch made in heaven. But so pour one out. We'll be pouring one out for Adam Thielen for sure.
Facts.
Yeah. All right, we made it through. Are you You want to add anything else on these games? Any bold predictions? You want to update your? I don't remember who your Super Bowl prediction was, but
Who are you taking for the Rams Bears game?
Bears plus 3.5. But are you asking
Right.
for a money? Are you asking for a money
Yeah.
line play?
Who you taking?
Damn. I'm gonna take the Rams. That was their Super Bowl.
Good answer.
Yep. This is one of those things where once again half the outcomes don't feel like
Yeah,
the Rams beating the crap out of the Bears.
I
But
agree.
the Rams should be able to. I'm thinking of that drive at the end of the game where Stafford's like hurt hand, whatever, don't care. He's going to have visions in the back of his mind for, I know how to beat a number 1 overall pick. I just
Yes.
did it.
It is guaranteed that the Super Bowl will have an NFC West team.
I mean, not mathematically, but I tend to agree.
The Rams are going to win and force the issue.
Yes, most likely. Rams and can you imagine the 2 division games in the AFC, the Bills and Patriots for the AFC, and Rams and either Rams Niners or Rams Seahawks.
Both of those, and any and all of those scenarios sound just delightful, just lovely.
Let's just not get a Texans Broncos AFC Championship game. Just
It would be really disgusting.
and a Bears Niners like that'd be rough. That'd be rough.
Bears anything would be awful.
I agree. I was cheering for the Bears because of my bet and because of no love for the Packers. I also have no love for the Bears. Bears fandom has ended. I'm cheering for the Rams, even though
Yeah.
I'm betting on the Bears.
100%.
And Sam Darnold, it was fun while it lasted. It's like the spring break girlfriend, you know?
Damn. You wild boy. Hey, your
I'm using
spring break girlfriend turned into your wife. You know, let's not
That was
assume
not
over here.
that was spring break in Kansas chasing tornadoes.
It's for you nerds. It's pretty much the same thing.
I would tend to agree with that.
Yeah.
You know,
So let's not kink shame out here. Spring break girlfriends.
there's that word again.
Hey, bro, equal and opportunity girlfriends out here, right?
All right. I feel it. I feel you, man. You had to bring the phrase king shame back in.
I did.
That made
Just
its
one
way
more
in
time.
right before we clicked, man.
One more time.
I am cheering for the Bills and the Niners only because right before that game for the 1 seed, I bet on the 49ers to make the Super Bowl because I'm like the 49ers are going to beat Sam Darnold in this game and then they're going to have an easy path to the Super Bowl and then they lost. They still made the playoffs. So the bet is still active.
It's still there. It's still
But
locked in.
The cash out value is 30% of what I wagered. So
That sounds about right.
not feeling great about that.
Not great, Bob.
Nope. So, with that, anything last to add here before we run for the hills?
I'm gonna say Bills Rams.
Super Bowl.
Yeah. In
think
Stafford, we trust. It has to be Stafford.
Yeah. I may have said that last week. I don't know. I have to go back and watch the tape.
It's a pretty common prediction. So somebody said it.
I really want the Bills to make the Super Bowl.
They have to. They have to. There is no other alternative.
Mathematically, that is not true.
There is no other
certainly
alternative,
hope.
sir.
I certainly hope you're right. Thank you all for listening. And after our Football Clowns Anonymous pick'em that we had this year, I'm sure that none of you will trust anything that we just said. And it will be expected that the wild card success that I had with betting will be a complete fluke. I will go over on my bets. I will go over on my bets this week, but I just wanted to make sure that I get all of this stuff encapsulated for the broader audience here, so that I can
Absolutely
feel bad about myself next week. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we will see if we are back for an NFC AFC Championship preview as well as a recap episode next week. So enjoy the games, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Peace.